back on Get Up. Let's run the hurry up. Adam Schefter, let's start in Dallas. What's going on with Micah Parsons?
He is in mandatory minicamp. He said he's going to be there for training camp, despite the fact that he's awaiting a contract that is expected to make him the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. And that means the Cowboys then will have the highest paid player in history in Dak Prescott and the highest paid defensive player. That's a deal that Micah Parsons and the Cowboys want to get done at some point this summer. Speaking of big deals, the Washington Commanders and Terry McLaurin want to try to get a deal done, but until they do, Terry McLaurin is staying away. Not present at mandatory minicamp at this current time. He has not been a part of any of the Commanders' all-season activities. And while we've seen other wide receivers like DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase get paid this offseason, Terry McLaurin still has not been paid. He's produced like a top receiver, and now he wants to be paid like a top receiver. Meanwhile, we continue to monitor the quarterback battle in Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders has been taking some reps, doing the work. The fact of the matter is, it is so rare for a fifth-round quarterback to come in and start right away. Shedeur Sanders has looked good. He has carried himself the right way, but there's still a long way to go before we can begin to have Shedeur Sanders in the conversation about when he's going to be starting the season for the Cleveland Browns. Right now, it looks like Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, they'll be vying for that job, and Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel will continue to learn, bide their time, and wait for their opportunity.
Shedeur did actually join the conversation, though, literally yesterday, speaking to the media. This is what he said about how he's approaching minicamp.
It's just a mindset, just an adjustment. You got to go and understand the situation that you're in and be able to approach that and get the best out of it. You can view things as you're not getting reps in a negative way, or you can view it as, okay, when's my time to get out there? So there's no excuses, because when you get out there, nobody cares how many reps you got. Whenever you get in the game, nobody cares if you took a snap before. You know, like everybody cares about production. So that's the main thing. When you get out there, you got to be able to produce.
So we all know that Tom Brady has been a mentor to him, and that we've all heard that clip of Brady saying, I don't care if you get one rep, and you make sure that you make it work, and that's the attitude that he is taking. The path to the starting job, Mike T, for Shedeur Sanders is an interesting one. Shefty pointed it out. The chances of him winning the job week one are extremely remote. But I feel like there's almost no question at some point this season he will get the chance to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And that should happen sooner than later, Green, for a number of reasons. First of all, he could be their quarterback in the future. I don't think there's any question he has much more ability than Dylan Gabriel, despite the fact that he was drafted 2 rounds later, and they made a great trade. I think Jacksonville likely could have a top 5, top 10 pick. That's going to be Cleveland's. Next year's draft is loaded with quarterbacks. So one of the things that Cleveland needs to accomplish this year is, where are they with the quarterback position? And this isn't the sexiest thing, but Shedeur Sanders can earn the trust and respect of his teammates, of Tommy Reese, the offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, every day, knowing his assignments, supporting himself as a pro. By all accounts, that's happening. And when you do that, that's how you start gaining momentum. And we could be sitting here in early October, Greeny, talking about Shedeur Sanders starting quarterback of the Browns.
What is the path, Lewis? Give me the path for Shedeur Sanders starting today to being QB1.
Look, it's about maximizing every single opportunity, and that's what he is talking about. And I think Tom Brady is a great template to follow in terms of how he talked about the early beginnings of his career. Every rep does matter. I've been in those situations. Where you don't get many reps in practice, and then you get thrust into a preseason game or a regular season game, and you're expected to perform, which means you got to be on it. You got to be on the details. And for Kevin Stefanski, it's got to be also about rewarding a guy like Shedeur Sanders with more reps, provided that he takes advantage of the limited ones that he gets, meaning he's crisp and clean in and out of the huddle. He's moving the football when they're in move the football type situations, whether it's in practice or in preseason games. He's getting the ball in the end zone. He's not turning the football over. That's what makes coaches give you more reps with starting with the 3s, then maybe with the 2s, then you get some reps with the 1s. And I'll tell you what, look, we say the NFL's a meritocracy. In theory it is, but sometimes you don't always get the opportunity to really take advantage of that meritocracy. Shedeur will get the opportunity as he continues to progress and earn the trust of the coaching staff. And if he does that, look, Mike T's right. He's the most talented thrower on that roster. But that doesn't matter if you don't get the opportunity. And the only way you get the opportunity is you have to earn it. You have to earn more opportunities. And I think he has the right mindset right now in terms of how he's approaching that.
But just to tell you what he's trying to overcome, there's been one quarterback in the last 40 years drafted in the 4th round or later who started his team's opener. And that was Dak Prescott with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak lit it up, Tony Romo got hurt, and Dak Prescott had a path to start. When you are a mid-round draft pick, you need help to get into that starting job. Not only do you have to play well, carry yourself well, but then sometimes you need an injury. You need Joe Flacco to bang his shoulder. You need Kenny Pickett to bruise his knee. You need things like that that give you an opportunity to step out there. And then once you do step out there, you need to take advantage of it.
You know, Greeny, they should be parallel track in their quarterback situation. Let's say we're getting the Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco winner for opening day. And as we're looking here on the screen, those first 4 games, let's be realistic. Cincinnati's not going to be easy. At Baltimore, the Packers, and at Detroit, they could be sitting here 1-3. What are we waiting on? Like, let's go get Shedeur. And again, I'm being presumptive that
if they were 1-3, they don't think like that.
Right. And I'm also saying that I think Shedeur is going to beat out Dillon Gabriel, which to me, from a talent standpoint, that's not even close. But you're parallel tracking, getting quarterbacks ready for 2 different groups. Opening day against Cincinnati, presumably that's Joe Flacco, and then the Shedeur Dillon Gabriel winner for October 1st.
I get that no one thinks that way, but we just said on our screen, it is the hardest strength of schedule to start a season that any team has. 1-3, I think, would be a pretty good start based on who they're playing, and then it only gets harder after that. The idea that they will not at some point this year find out what they have in both of these young kids, Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel, strikes me as very unlikely. So that's the situation in Cleveland.
Field, sure. Season 21 for the future Hall of Famer's career will begin for him in Steel City, and there was plenty on the table at mandatory minicamp with the media. Rodgers is married now, both in real life and then professionally, to Mike Tomlin. Here's Rodgers on why the Steelers were the right fit.
It starts with Mike Tomlin. I mean, I've been a fan of his for a long time. There's a few iconic franchises in the NFL. I played for one of them for 18 years. This is another one of those. I don't need it for my ego. I don't need it to keep playing. This was a decision that was best for my soul. And I felt like being here with Coach T and the guys that got here, and the opportunity here was the best for me, and I'm excited to be here.
Hey, Adam Schefter is with us for more. Adam, what's the early word on Aaron Rodgers from Steelers camp?
Well, Randy, who doesn't want to make a decision that's best for your soul? And Aaron Rodgers yesterday was in Pittsburgh for the first time to practice with his new teammates, his new organization, and his first message of the day to his new team was that he's all in. That's what he felt like he needed to tell everybody after weeks and months of speculation about whether and when he would sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And once he did and got that 1-year deal done, he told all his new teammates yesterday he's all in, he's all ready to get to work. And as you mentioned, he's married to the job, he's married off the field, a lot of rings this offseason, a lot of marriages, and Aaron Rodgers is ready to get to work to try to return the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs where they've lost their last 6 postseason games.
Something borrowed, something blue, something new. I mean, the whole thing works here for the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. Now, Pittsburgh has a focus on who is there, sure, but also for who is not there, notably TJ Watt. What's the latest on his absence, Adam?
Randy, who would have ever thought that on the very first day that Aaron Rodgers would practice with the Steelers, the biggest story would be TJ Watt staying away from the Steelers' mandatory minicamp. He's set to earn $21 million this season. He wants a new deal. He wants it reworked. We've seen many pass rushers be paid this offseason. TJ Watt wants to add his name to that list, as does the Bengals standout pass rusher Trey Hendrickson, who led the NFL in sacks last year. Him and TJ Watt are 1 and 2 in sacks in the NFL the last 2 years. Hendrickson's been trying to get a deal done with the Bengals for the better part of the past